Hey everyone, I hope you had a great day. This is Wednesday, September 5th of 2018, and tonight's homework is on 1.2 thousandths on page 15 and 16, and you're doing the odd numbers. Some of you are actually doing even, or you're supposed to have done that, so tonight you're doing odd. I wanted to, I should have had y'all written names. So just shout out to, let me think. I had Beatrice, a shout out to David, a shout out to Ellie. So you guys have done a phenomenal job. Those are just 3 shout outs. I will add more to it. So if you're wanting me to shout your name out, simply make a reply and I will do that, or we'll post it on the board. So what I'd like for you to do is, let's go over, because we're doing the odds, we're going to write the decimal that's shown by the shaped part of the model. So what you'll have on benchmark, and you will also see this on start, and sorry about that, I was playing with clay, is how would this decimal be written? So again, we were talking about if this was the flat, and you had your notes today, this represents 1/10, this represents 2/10, this represents 3/10, and that represents 4/10. So you can either draw lines or you can circle it. So that's 1/10. You can do it this way, 2/10. You can zigzag it for 3/10. And you can again just draw a straight line, whichever you want. That's going to be 4/10. So I have my decimal here, and I'm writing my 4 because this represents my tenths column. And then here, each unit, and remember we said the units were represented in this square. So each unit, so I have 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 units. Well, each one of these, since there's 100 in here, I'm showing that I have 1, 2, 3 hundredths. So this represents my hundredths because I have 3 out of the 100 that I'm representing. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. And so what decimal am I representing here? I'm representing it. This is 43 hundredths. My 4/10ths and my 3 hundredths. And those are in those correct place values. Okay. Next one, on number 3, use place value patterns to complete the table. Now today, you also had your notes that you could have taken home. And we were talking about 10 times as much, and we were talking about 1/10 of. So here I have my decimal, and this represents 8 hundredths. That's my tenths place, that's my hundredths place. And what I'm going to do, because if I am that kiddo that's getting confused on place value, I'm writing my decimal right here, my dash, my dash, my dash, and I'm putting 1/10, 1/100ths, and 1/1000ths. I could have written it below and then fill in the blanks. I could have done that. As a matter of fact, I should. So if this confuses you, simply redo it. Put your decimal, dot, 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 1/10, 1/100th, and 1/1000. Okay, so if I were to plug this number in here, I have a 0 and I have an 8. So that tells me this last digit identifies what place value it's in, and it tells me how to say it. So I have 8 hundredths. Now, it said it's 10 times as much. All right, so now we know that if it's 10 times as much, you have that 1 0 here. We're going to move the decimal over. The number's going to get bigger because it's 10 times as much. And so now, what is larger than 8 hundredths? I heard somebody shout it out. You're absolutely right. 8/10 is a larger value than 8 hundredths. This one here, we move the decimal over to the left because we're moving it at one place value over. Okay? because it's 10 times as much. 1/10 of 800ths. Now the value is now going to get smaller. And so it will be what? Yep, I hear y'all shouting it out. It's 8 thousandths. Okay, and we talked about patterns today. If you should have taken your journal home, if you were still confused, and if not, see me in the morning so we can go over that. 5/10. So if I were to have this here, it's 5/10 is the value. Now it's 10 times. I know that it's going to get bigger. I'm moving my decimal over one spot. And so I went from 5/10 to 5 wholes. Okay, 5 ones. Now it says 1/10 of 5/10. It's going to get smaller. So I'm going to take it over, move that decimal over to the right to show small. And now it went from 5/10 to 500ths. I'm going to do the same here. Again, my number becomes the value, increases, that's a C, and here the value decreases. Make sure that we use those vocabulary words rather than saying getting bigger, getting smaller, because you won't see that on your benchmarks, you won't see that on your quizzes, and you're not going to see that on STAR. So just keep in mind of the vocabulary words. Okay, so we have 2/10, and we said 2/10 in order to get larger. It's my 2/10. I'm going to move my decimal over to the left, which makes it now 2 wholes. 1/10 of 2/10, it becomes smaller, and what does that become? Yeah, you're right. That's going to become 200ths. 600ths is now, because if I place that here, 6 is in the hundredths place value, so I call it 600ths. So if it's 10 times larger, I'm moving it over because the number is now going to increase in value, and it becomes 6/10. It's going to decrease in value because I'm going to only use 1/10 of my 600ths, and now it becomes, you're absolutely right, 6,000ths. Okay. All right. So again, if you're having problems, see me in the AM. Get your breakfast, bring it here, be ready to work, 7:15 to 7:45. All right, now let's move on to this next one. I'm going to move this down a bit, and let's read our story. It says, Andy makes a model of a new tool that is 24 hundredths meters long. Now his model is 10 times as large as the actual tool. So how big is the model? Okay, so I'm going to think of my end in mind. First things first, right? Got to put things in order. I'm going to underline important details. So Andy, that's our character's name, makes a model of a new tool that is 24 hundredths meters long. So I'm going to write, bullet my new tool is 24 hundredths meter long. His model is 10 times as large as the actual tool. So this model here is 10 times as large as the actual tool. So how big is the model? So the actual tool his model is, it's not the actual, my fault. So we want to know how big is his model. If his model is 10 times as large as the actual tool, the model is what? Model is 10 times. There was Miss Van Ness is getting some stuff moved into her room, and I got easily distracted because there was a big old bang, so my apologies. So model is 10 times, and remember today we talked about when you see this word times, we're looking at this here as large as the actual tool. and how big is the model. So I'm going to change my question into a statement and put the model is blank. Okay? Well, all right. Now, we said that when it was 10 times, looking up here, we said the value is going to increase. We're moving that decimal only one place value over. So if it is not, I'm going to put this is 1/10, this is 100ths, 1,000ths, and here is ones. All right, so if I place my place value here at 2400ths, and I moved my place value to show an increase, how long is it? How many meters is it if I wanted to let it grow? I hear a shout out. You're absolutely right. We're going to move that over to the left because we're going to start here. And now the new length is at 2 and 4 meters long. Because it grew. That's how big the model is. All right, again, if you have any questions, come see me in the morning. All right, number 7. What is the value of the digit 1 in this number 413,000? So we're looking at this digit here. Again, those of you that are still struggling, just simply write your numbers here. I know that this is the tenths, so I'm going to do it like this. This is the hundredths, and this is the thousandths. And we're looking at this one right here. So my 1 is in the hundredths place value. This is what I mean about showing your thinking. Even though you knew it off the bat, I'm going to tell you, the more times that I have seen that kids don't do as well because they thought they had it, they thought they knew it, is because of careless mistakes. So your brain is still in training until we are across that finish line. The next one was number 9. The ice on a pond, I was going to say ice cream. The ice on a pond is 300th meter thick. If the ice were 10 times as thick, how many meters thick would the ice be? Is our value going to increase or decrease? Okay, so here's what we know. The ice on the pond is 300th meter thick. Ice is 300th meter, I'm going to put the in for meter, thick. If the ice were 10 times as thick, then how many meters thick would the ice be? The meters, not the meters, the ice will be blank meters thick. And remember, is this going to increase because it's 10 times? So when we're comparing, oops, I'm so sorry about that. So the meter is, this one here, A, 3,000ths. Is 3,000ths greater than, less than, or equal to 300ths? Yep, I hear the shouting out. It is less than. So that's not even possible because this is less than. So I can either write it out or use the symbol. 3/10. Less than, greater than.